Here on the ground, change happens fast. Problems feel frequent and urgent. It's loud and anxiety runs high. From a satellite view, the Earth looks the same as it did thousands of years ago. We've been here before. Let's learn from our past and shoot for a better future.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of A Satellite View. I'm Todd Mickelson, your host, speaking at you from Monday, July 20th, 2026, in the space and time continuum. Another week of an just incredible amount of unbelievable news, yet it feels like nothing is changing. So we're going to talk about that. Yes, things actually are changing. There's some astonishing developments in actuality. Now, I don't know where to start. Let's see. Okay, let's start with Mitch McConnell. Now, the game is, I don't think we've talked about this on the show. The game is the Republicans are trying to get past August 3rd, which is still, more than 2 weeks away? Or so, and that means that there can be no special election because it's too close to the midterm elections. Now, if there was a special election held right now, probably the Democrats or Macy would win, the Republican who's trying to get the Epstein files passed. He probably would actually win. Now, also before August 3rd, Andy Beshear, the governor, could actually just anoint somebody because he's the governor of the state. But he's a putz, in my opinion. He went on public TV. He publicly said, 2 different state agencies called him and told him that Mitch McConnell died. So why is he not then appointing somebody? He keeps going on TV saying, I'm going to just, I don't know. I mean, Mitch McConnell, he's got to do a video. Mitch McConnell's not going to do a video because you know why? Because Mitch McConnell is dead. He's been dead for a month. You know it. I know it. Andy Beshear knows it. Everybody knows it. But Andy Beshear won't. This is the thing. The Democratic Party, this is why, I'm pissed at the Democratic Party right now. The leadership, if you want to call it the moderate part of the Democratic Party, I kind of never trusted Andy Beshear. I know everyone says he's great. He says great things. He's pretty good at messaging. But he's a little bit of a wuss job. I know he's in a red state, but I'm not trusting him right now because he should be appointing a replacement for Mitch McConnell until there's a special election, which he should call right now. Republicans are trying to get past August 3rd. And it is amazing when people put a microphone in front of Republican senators' faces right now. Josh Hawley, of all people, said, I think Mitch McConnell should tell us what the hell's going on. Okay, but everyone else, including the other, Rand Paul, the other senator from the state of Kentucky, he just walks by the microphone. He won't say a word. You know why? Because he knows Mitch McConnell's dead. Because we all know Mitch McConnell's dead. There's a rule, by the way, under paragraph 2 of rule number 6 of the standing rules of the Senate. Quote, no senator shall absent himself from the service of the Senate without leave, unquote. Rather than communicating through secret phone calls or anonymous sources, McConnell has an obligation to disclose to the Senate the reasons for his extended absence and to request permission of the Senate to grant him the privilege of continued absence. Without that disclosure and request and without explicit Senate approval for his extended absence, McConnell has an obligation to resign. Those are the Senate rules. The Republicans don't go by any rules anymore. And the Democrats just sit on their fucking hands, and I'm so sick of it. The leadership, okay. Let's switch, because that drives me crazy. A lot of things are driving me crazy right now, probably you as well. Here's some good news, okay? Kate Conley is up against Mike Lawler in New York's 17th District. She is one example of a Democrat running against a MAGA Republican who falsely won in 2024. He's one of the districts. There were more than a handful, but not all districts, but more than a handful of districts that Elon messed with in 2024. Mike Lawler got in. He's a complete douche, non-human, Trumper. I believe New York 17th is somewhere on Long Island. Now, Kate Conley is running against him. She won the primary as a Democrat, and she's beating him. Some polls say by only like 7 points, but that's a lot. That's a lot. He's an incumbent Republican congressperson, and she's ahead by 7 points in the lowest numbers polls. I've heard polls that are insanely higher than that. And this is why the Republicans are so scared of the midterm elections and why Donald Trump did this stupidity this week, but it did not work. We are going to talk about some details about that are pretty amazing. I think among some of the most amazing news of the week. But further in polling, there's a thing called double haters. They hate the Democrats and they hate the Republicans. Now, I don't know who these people are because by this point, 10 years after Donald Trump, it's pretty easy to take a side. You take the side of being a human being or you take the side of being a horrible, hateful swamp creature. But apparently there are still these double haters. And maybe that's going away because double haters were polled this last week. And they never want to vote for either party. And apparently, I don't know, there's not really an independent party candidate. So I don't know what these people do. They just don't vote for the president in a presidential election. But anyway, double haters being polled, 55% say they're going to vote for the Democrats. That's pretty incredible because normally they don't vote for either one. 55% of double haters plan to vote for Democrats up and down the ballot in 2026. Only 29% of double haters say that they will vote for Republican candidates. So polling is scaring the absolute crap out of the Republicans, and that's why they're, trying to cheat as much as possible. And by the way, there is more talk bubbling up about the 2024 election being stolen by Elon Musk. That is bubbling up, bubbling up, bubbling up. Here's another incredible thing. You heard about AI data centers. 6 in 10 Republicans are against AI data centers. These places are stealing all the electricity from all around the region. There's one town that's basically their electric company is going to stop serving the town. I can't remember where. It's by Lake Tahoe, actually. They announced they're going to stop serving the town and they're only going to serve the AI data center. Well, people are protesting. This last weekend, there were thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people protesting against ICE. Okay, that's kind of usual. Very important. I'm not trying to diminish that, the importance of that. But there were also tens of thousands of people protesting against AI data centers. There's a woman who was a big leader back in the Tea Party days. She organized a huge Tea Party organization out east in 2009. I heard a quote from her saying, "I want Republicans to lead on this," and she is now organizing a big group that is protesting against AI data centers. 7 in 10 Americans are against AI data centers. And like I said before, 6 in 10 Republicans are against AI data centers. People are turning against these oligarch pieces of crap like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, who, by the way, went the way of the Nazis and is now in Argentina, just like what a lot of the Nazis did in the 40s to escape being persecuted. And I think Elon Musk is going to go the way of actual Hitler and commit suicide in the basement at some point. And he's getting in pretty big trouble, too. Not because of money crimes, but because of his interference in elections in other countries, and I think it's going to come here as well. Let's see what else here. Oh, I'm going to throw this in, because this used to make the news. There was a 7.3 magnitude earthquake in southern Mexico this week. Why are we not hearing about these? What did I say? Last week or the week before, there was an even bigger magnitude earthquake. These earthquakes are happening a lot. Gaia, Madam Earth, is pissed off and shrugging. And I'm afraid a lot of the human race is going to be shrugged off in her little tantrums. I'm going to save the most astonishing thing for the second part. And we're going to take a break very soon. And then I want to tell you about a couple things that I think are really astonishing. A couple funny things. For some reason, J.D. Vance is moving to Virginia to a whole different house. And Secret Service is done with him and Usha. They're complaining about how they want to, well, for this house that they found in Virginia, they used Air Force Two, or not Air Force, the helicopter, Marine 2, which costs between $18,000 and $24,000 an hour to operate. They went down to look at this house using that helicopter. They plan on doing things, and then the Secret Service has to, send somebody over to where they're going to go, get it all secured, do all this stuff, which of course is, again, paid for by taxpayer dollars. And then they'll say, oh, we changed our mind. We don't feel like doing that. Secret Service actually went to the press. This is, I think, a pretty big deal. Secret Service went to some journalists at the New York Times and reported on this. What broke the camel's back was apparently J.D. Vance getting that helicopter to fly his son to golf lessons. $18,000 to $24,000 ride that, 6-year-old got. Not holding it against the 6-year-old, but J.D. Vance is... And apparently people are all up in arms because Donald Trump was the first one to share a picture of the new baby. I guess Usha just had her baby in the last 10 minutes or something. Okay, another funny thing. This thing at the World Cup. So Spain apparently won the big victory at the end. I don't follow this stuff, but the big grand finale championship game was won by Spain. Donald Trump ran up on stage for the photo, and you can see he's wanting to shake the hands of the guys. Like, yeah, we did a great job. I got that one goal. Can you say that I got that goal instead of you? Because people would love to hear that Trump got a goal. Trump got a goal in the game. So I know it was you, whatever your name is. Can you just say, no, it was actually Trump, because everyone would love that Trump gets a goal. I'm going to keep the gold, the big gold. It's going to look great up there on a shelf up in the Oval Office. He runs up on stage trying to shake all these guys' hands at the big moment, right before they put out pyrotechnics and do the big photograph, the big victory photograph. Donald Trump standing at mid-stage, and you can see the guys shoving him, kind of politely, too politely in my opinion, but they're shoving him aside, trying to get him off their little stage. And then the FIFA president, whoever the fuck that piece of shit is, corrupt mother He runs over and tries to pull Donald Trump out of the photograph. The photograph is taken. The next morning, Donald Trump is photographed or photoshopped out of the photograph. And I would love to have been in the room when he heard about that. But I think maybe that never happened because I don't think he's being told anything anymore by anybody. So, yeah. Another funny thing, Pete KegBreath is offering gender-affirming care to the troops. But he doesn't realize it. He's going to do testosterone screening, and anyone who doesn't have enough testosterone, he's going to make them get more testosterone. That is gender-affirming care, KegBreath. I know you're too drunk to realize what the hell you're talking about. And wow, what a wuss job you are. Seems like maybe you found out that you don't have enough testosterone. I don't know if I have enough testosterone. I don't care. I don't care. I thought that he hated the trans people. I thought he hated gender-affirming care. But now the Pentagon is offering gender-affirming care to the troops under KegBreath. It's turning into such an absurd cartoon. It's as though the forces of light are working against the forces of dark, and it's just taking too fucking long. So now they're making it into a comedy act. But it's still driving us crazy. I'm sick of waiting. I know you are too. But so many things that we have felt are really coming to fruition. They really are. It doesn't feel like it often, but they really are. Let's take a short break and come back. I want to talk to you about what I think is some pretty astonishing news that happened just a couple days ago. When we come back, you're listening to A Satellite View. We'll be right back. And we're back on A Satellite View. If you want to find our website, go to satelliteview.com. Sign up to be on our email list. If you want to find our YouTube channel, go to YouTube and search for Satellite View Podcast. And then when you go to our channel, subscribe. It's free. And you can also find me at Todd Mickelson on Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and you can find our Facebook page, which has a lot of short clips of video from this show that actually get an astonishing amount of views quite often. I know I'm astonished at least. Anyway, so you can find us at Mickelson Politics on Facebook, at Mickelson Politics. Let's get back into this stuff. Now, I'll save some of the little things for later, because I told you when we come back, I'm going to tell you about what I think is some of the more astonishing things going on. So we're going to start with that. This has to do with Donald Trump's speech on Thursday night, where he again is trying to revisit the 2020 election, saying that it was rigged and that he won. He had been teasing it all week, as have other people in his realm. It's going to be big news. It's big news. It's going to be big news. He was going to declassify information that overwhelmingly proved that the Democrats stole the election with help of other countries. Now, I predicted, this makes me think I could be making a lot of money working in the Donald Trump administration, because my idea of what I thought they were going to do is way better than what they did, better for them than what they did. I thought they figured out, okay, what is different now than what has been going on for 5 years, after the 2020 election? One thing that's different is that they kidnapped Maduro from Venezuela. One of the crazy things from back in 2020 and 2021 was Venezuela changed votes from Trump to Biden in the voting machines. And now, January or February, Trump went into Venezuela and basically just kidnapped Maduro, their leader, their president. I thought they were going to say, we found out new information because we have Maduro in our custody. We questioned him, and he revealed more information that was classified up until tonight. And he told us that, yes, he himself switched the votes from Trump to Biden in the voting machines from Venezuela. We were right all along. No, he didn't do that. He didn't mention Maduro or Venezuela. He talked about China. Okay, so now China is, of course, getting pissed. There's just new news, like I think even today, where China is on the verge of releasing everything they have on the Epstein files, which, of course, I think everybody in the world has the unredacted Epstein files. I think it's all over the place. I think it was spread all over the place. I think it was spread by Jeffrey Epstein as insurance. Anyway, I have heard people saying, so, and I can't confirm this, but China is threatening because of what Trump said. He basically blamed China for switching the votes. And then he said, I'm having the CIA, the intelligence, release documents. This is what he said on Thursday. They're releasing it right now. So they did release documents. But another thing Donald Trump said, because he's so stupid, he said that the intelligence agencies in 2020 are responsible for not telling Trump himself or the American people about this classified information that China changed votes in the voting machines from Trump to Biden in 2020. Now, the head of the CIA, who Trump said is going to release these documents just this last Thursday night, back in 2020, was the head of the intelligence. He was head of the top intelligence agencies, overseeing all of the intelligence agencies back in 2020, because Trump is too dumb to realize it was the Trump administration was in charge of all of the election. I mean, all this stuff that Trump says the Democrats were cheating, and he blames it on Biden and China. Trump was in charge. Biden had no power in 2020. And John Radcliffe was the head of intelligence in 2020. Now he's the head of the CIA. And he's pretty pissed at what Trump said about him. Never mentioned his name, but he said, the head of intelligence screwed up in 2020. That was John Radcliffe. John Radcliffe actually was at a conference and was talking about some things against, again, not blatantly saying Trump screwed this stuff up, but you can tell John Radcliffe is pretty pissed. So now the CIA released, here's from China. This is documentation from China from 2020 that apparently was classified, and now John Radcliffe released it, and a lot of it is redacted. I'm going to read the first paragraph, and the first sentence basically, redacted. We judge that China will, redacted, evaluate the implications of various electoral outcomes on its interests. If Beijing were to assess that the increasingly downward trajectory in U.S.-China relations threatened China's rise and could not be dealt with using existing tools, it might attempt to more directly thwart the president's re-election, including by leaking information, redacted, or through online redacted influence network, and then paragraph after paragraph after paragraph completely blacked out. This is information on Trump. It's probably related to the Epstein. It's probably Trump raped 13-year-olds and slapped them, because that's what happened. All of this is redacted. Radcliffe released that on Thursday night, what I just read to you. from China. China wrote that and basically said, if you keep doing this and it in any way hurts China, we're going to release this information. Now, what Radcliffe could see is not redacted. We are only seeing redacted. Even what I think is more astonishing, Trump's own CIA. So this is information that came out in this dump on Thursday night after Trump's speech. This is from DropSite on Twitter. The Trump administration has tentatively agreed to let Saudi Arabia enrich uranium under a draft civilian nuclear deal that would not require the kingdom to adopt the IAEA's Enhanced Safeguards Protocol. The deal, negotiated in October 2025, remains unsigned by Trump. Nuclear experts warn it could give Riyadh, capital of Saudi Arabia, a pathway toward weapons capability. That means a nuclear bomb. While lawmakers have not yet received the agreement for mandatory congressional review. So CNN is reporting that this information was just released on Thursday by Radcliffe, by the CIA, that a deal was made last October that has not even been shown to Congress yet. This is the pay-to-play dealing that's been going on with Trump and Jared Kushner and what's his name, the other guy, Witkoff, with Saudi Arabia. Trump administration tentatively agreed to let Saudi Arabia enrich uranium under a draft civilian nuclear deal that would not require the kingdom to adopt these enhanced safeguards protocol from this agency. The fact that that has been released because Radcliffe is pissed that Trump is blaming him for the 2020 election, I don't think Trump realizes any of this stuff is going on. Remember how last week I talked about how the CIA is leaking important things? The CIA, because it's John Radcliffe, and John Radcliffe knows that Trump, when he talks about the 2020 election, he's blaming our intelligence agencies for covering it up as well. And John Radcliffe was in charge of the intelligence agencies in 2020. So he is pissed as hell at Trump. And that's why these CIA leaks have been coming out by the head of the CIA. Radcliffe is also complaining about these deals that Trump has made to give AI chips to China and other countries as well. Radcliffe said this week, you know, the life expectancy of a Russian soldier who gets put on the front line right now in Ukraine is between 20 and 30 minutes long. If you're a Russian soldier and you go to war in Ukraine, your life expectancy is between 20 and 30 minutes. And Radcliffe is worried that if Trump, because now Trump's talking about sending troops to Iran, Radcliffe is trying to warn, Iran has been learning from Ukraine with these AI drones that are very cheap and disposable, and those drones are what's responsible for the short lifespan of 20 to 30 minutes of Russian troops. And Radcliffe is trying to say, do you want that to be the lifespan of American troops? And to make any difference, if we're going to send troops on the ground in Iran, all the experts say it would take hundreds of thousands of troops. And we're going to have, by the way, it also came out just today or yesterday that in the New York Times is reporting that the Pentagon is withholding casualties info. The Iranians bombed a housing unit at a base in Jordan, a United States military base in Jordan. Multiple missiles, Iranian missiles, got through our air defense. Our air defense is depleted. Donald Trump keeps saying that Iran's military capabilities is decimated. They don't have any capabilities to send missiles or bombs. He's lying. Iran is sending missiles and bombs that are getting through our air defense and killing. They're announcing 3 casualties in this hit. Do you believe that? Imagine a big apartment building being bombed when everybody's asleep. You think only 3 people died? They're lying to us. And the New York Times, and these are all leaks that are coming out. The leaks are breaking, and it's going to be a big part of bringing down the Trump administration. It is happening, and astonishing things occurred this week in that realm. New York Times is reporting that the Pentagon is lying to the United States public about casualties in the Iran war. Does that surprise you? It doesn't surprise me. What was your gut feeling? Only 13 people died? Now it's up to 17 people? Only 17 casualties? You see all this video of our bases on fire after being bombed? This is a place we never thought we would be in, I think. But we are, and we need to get out of it. And we're in the process. The Republicans are going to do everything they can, but they're running out of time. The SAVE Act, even if it did pass through the Senate, which Lisa Murkowski said she will not vote yes on it, which basically kills it for sure. By the way, Susan Collins is hurting badly. Maine did have a really quick little primary, and Troy Jackson got through, and he is holding up the mantle of the movement that was started in Maine by the Maine voters. Now, Graham Plattner is gone. He ended up being a lying asshole. And the voters got rid of him and now have Troy Jackson there. But the voters are done with Susan Collins. And her concern, I'm very concerned. I am very concerned. She was one of the deciding votes for, what's his name in the, I block the stuff that bugs me the most. Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court, which was a big part of overturning Roe v. Wade. He assured me when he was in my office that he would not overturn it. You know, it's like she's a dance remix now. Boom, boom. I would never. I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned. So yeah, where was I? The SAVE Act, even if it passed the Senate, which is it's not going to, there's not enough time to get it up and running before the midterm elections. We're only 3.5 months away. So enjoy the summer weather while you can. Because I was surprised to hear, we're only 3.5 months away from the beginning of November. I don't like that timeline, but yeah, a lot going on. I don't know what the elections are going to be like. I don't know what's going to happen between now and then. But you can see a lot of shifting. I don't know, 2 or 3 episodes ago, the shift has begun, certainly. Certainly it has. So let's not be driven crazy by the fact that no big astonishing changes have happened, that we're still just kind of watching this unfold with astonishing things happening, but still none of them changing. I mean, Mitch McConnell's dead and Andy Bashir's afraid to tell anyone. So, you know, that drives me crazy. But we are moving forward. Let's enjoy the summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. Let's enjoy the nice weather. Well, some of the weather is hard to get through because it's pretty hot. But let's enjoy our lives as much as we can. Let's be with the people we want to be with. Let's stay together, keep each other sane. We will get through this together. And I thank everybody who's out there protesting against AI data centers and protesting against ICE and protesting against anything Donald Trump related. And we're going to keep that pressure going. We are. And you're doing your job. We're all doing a great job. And we're sticking together. I'm here with you. Thank you so much for being here with me. I will speak at you again next week on a Saturday.
You've been listening to A Satellite View with Todd Mickelson. Go to toddmickelson.com for links and more information.